Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. So to close the 2020 chapter on my channel, I decided to do a bullet journal flip through of my current bullet journal that I've been using for 2020. So I already did a flip through of my first bullet journal for the year, which was this one from Notebook Therapy, and I used this notebook from January to June, and I've been using this bullet journal from July until now December. This is the last week that I'm going to use this bullet journal, and then I'm going to move into my new bullet journal for 2021. I did reviews on like the first impressions and pen tests and notebook comparison on both of them, and on this one I actually did a review like 6 months after using, like how I felt about the notebook and if I would use it again. So I'm going to link everything down below, as well as all my setups that I did this year. So if you missed some of them, or if you see here a theme that you really liked and you want to watch the video, I'm going to link everything down below. And I'm also going to link down below my bullet journal flip through playlist in case you want to just watch all the notebooks that I've used since I started bullet journaling. Now, before I start with this flip through, I wanted to ask your opinion about the flip through videos on my channel. I've seen a bunch of creators this year doing like a year in my bullet journal where they take all of the journals that they used for this year and they just do one video with like the flip through of all the notebooks. I kind of like to separate the flip throughs, so when I'm using this journal and I finished it, I do a flip through and then I start this one and then I do a flip through of this one. But let me know if you guys prefer to see like a year in my bullet journal and I don't do a flip through of the first journal that I used for the year, and at this time of the year I do a flip through of all the journals. For me, it kind of makes more sense to start a journal, finish it, and close the chapter with a flip through. But it also makes sense to just save all the journals that I have and do like a year in my bullet journal and a flip through of all the themes that I did for the entire year. So let me know about that. And now I'm going to start with my bullet journal flip through that I used from July to now December. So this year I used only Notebook Therapy products. I wanted to do a year full of Notebook Therapy things, so I used 2 notebooks from Notebook Therapy, and this one is a nighttime edition in the A5 size. I think this notebook is amazing. I loved the A5 size that they have because the other notebook that I used for the beginning of the year, it's in the original size and it's a little bit smaller. So it was a big of a change to do my pages in an A5 journal, but I really enjoyed this size and I think it's the size that it's perfect for me. As you can see, this journal suffered a lot. I tried a bunch of things and I used a bunch of papers and watercolors and it was just a whole mess. The notebook itself is not that damaged. I used to take my bullet journal to my workplace. Since I'm working from home, I don't, but I used to, and it's a little bit damaged because, you know, it's in my backpack and sometimes in my tote bag, but it's not that bad. I have to admit that the quality of the notebook is amazing. I really enjoyed this notebook throughout these past 6 months. I still have a couple of pages left in this notebook, but I'm going to use for extra pages or to just do miscellaneous pages on Instagram. I'm going to use the back pages in this notebook. So let's start with everything that I did in this baby. So when you open the notebook, it has a space for the name. I never do any decorations in this page because I'm never gonna look back at it, so why bother? And I have the key and year at a glance, and the theme for my collections in this notebook is inspired by the actual theme of the notebook. It was the first time that I did like a theme inspired by the notebook itself, but it was really fun. I really enjoyed doing the pink text with some doodles around it. It was really great. My key is still the same. I don't know why I did a year at a glance since I don't use it. I never referenced back to this page, so I took it back for 2021, but this is what I did. Next I have the future log. I really enjoyed the minimal layout of the future log that I did, but I don't use the future log a lot, so for 2021 I changed the whole layout that I did, and I kind of liked it, but it's too messy for me, so I didn't use it as much. And that is a theme throughout my collections for 2020. I did them, I like them, but I didn't use them a lot, and that's why I changed most of them for 2021. Goals and wish list. again, I didn't use the wish list at all. The things that I wrote here were things that I wanted at the beginning of July when I started this journal. Then I just didn't write anything here. I just forgot that I had this page in my bullet journal. And for my goals, they were very miscellaneous and very like vague, so I ended up not doing much with them, which sucks, but I changed that for 2021. Again, this is just like very experimental, and you will see that throughout the rest of the pages. Things to check out page. This was a page inspired by Amanda Richley. I really enjoyed the layout that I did. I really like the page, but I totally forgot to fill it in, and the things that you see here filled in, especially in these two sections, were the things that I filled in throughout December because I knew that I was going to do a flip through of my journal. I have here movies, TV shows. Here I put animes because I've been into anime this past 6 months. Places where it's pretty much blank because I couldn't go anywhere. And on the book section, it has no change because quarantine started and I lost all motivation to read, so it sucked, but it happens. But I really like this layout, and it's a page that once the pandemic is over, I'm going to redo it in my bullet journal. When did I last page? I moved it to 2021. This page is really useful, but I didn't use it as much, so I made sure to do a new page for 2021. Memories and milestones. I tried my best to write here everything that happened throughout this past 6 months, but I forgot to fill in here my milestones and the memories. Not all of them are here, but most of them are, and that's what's important. But I kind of forgot to fill it in, and it's now sad to look back at my memories and milestones and not have everything here. So I did a different page for 2021, but it worked, but it was just not perfect for me, so just didn't work out. And my brain dump, I ended up not doing much with this page because I sometimes do a brain dump, and I like to have a brain dump in my journal, but sometimes I just don't use it. That is why I took out the brain dump page from my monthly spreads, and I did like one on my collections for the bullet journal. But even though I did it, I didn't use it, so. And now we start with the first monthly setup in my bullet journal. This was my July setup where I did grids and plants and greens and browns, and I used stickers for the first time in my bullet journal, and this theme really blew up on my channel. I still don't know why. I think that the colors were really great, and I really liked the simplicity of the theme. Maybe that was why, but I still don't know why you guys loved it so much. It's probably one of my favorites, but I wasn't expecting that much love on my theme. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing this theme because I tried a bunch of different things. I used stickers for the first time. I did these like washi tape decorations on the side, and it was just really fun to make. I think this was also one of the first weekly spreads that was really messy that I did. I really like this layout. I did it in April, I think, but for July I was really vibing with the messy of the theme and the fact that I had a bunch of grids, and I was able to play around with the spreads and the layouts, so I had a lot of fun. Then we start with August. August was a really weird month for me because I was still doing the 2-color challenge for my bullet journal themes, and I actually did a video about how I come up with my bullet journal themes and spreads and everything, and I took the example of August, so if you want to check that out, it's in the description as well. But I had a lot of fun doing the lemons and the watercolors, but for some reason something was missing, and I did a bunch of things that I didn't like. I did the 1 line a day page. This page never worked for me, but you know, retrying things and see if it works now, but it didn't, so really sucked. I did a mini calendar, which, you know, at this point I was starting to like get over it, the mini calendars, and I started doing big calendars, but I did it anyways. And like this habit tracker, you know, something is missing here. I don't know what it is, but something is missing. And it's probably because I like to do like the same element on the same page. So like these rectangles are the same size on every page. And sometimes that is the problem, but I don't know. It was just so weird to me. I liked the spreads, but it wasn't my favorite theme at all. This theme was just a whole mess. And I really enjoyed doing it, but, you know, something wasn't clicking when I did this theme. And now looking back at it, I don't like it. It's probably one of the most childish themes that I did that I didn't enjoy, but I was happy that I did, if that makes sense. Like this weekly spread, it's really simple. It has the lemons here and the blues, but you know, it's so weird to me. And I tried like combining the colors in different places and trying different things, but for some reason it was so weird to me. Like here I didn't even bother to make some lemons. I was just doing the lemons for this weekly spread that I was going to post on Instagram, I think. And I was just too tired to do lemons for this page, so I just leave it blank. And one thing that I didn't want to do in this bullet journal that I did in my past ones was just forget to do the weekly spreads and just do something like whatever. I really tried to do new spreads and to fill in the weekly spreads as I went through the month. This is a tracker that I did. I normally don't do trackers after the weekly spread. But this was when I was suffering from burnout because I was taking too much time to YouTube and I was having a bunch of things to do and I was feeling overwhelmed. So I kind of pressed pause on the things that I was doing and I just made this health tracker to just track my sleep hours and if I was, you know, doing the things that make me happy and that keep me healthy basically. So I stopped a little bit, I made this tracker, I did these little lemons on the side, which they look even better than the big rectangles that I was doing, but yeah, I did this tracker and I actually talked about this on a Bujo vlog, so if you're interested in that, it's in the description as well, but this tracker helped me a lot when I was suffering from burnout. And then we start with September, and I loved my September theme. It's also really childish, it's really like coloring book vibes to me, but it was amazing because I got these stamps from Notebook Therapy and I wanted to use them badly. So the stars theme, it's one of my favorites. I have never thought that I was going to do a theme as colorful as this one, but I really enjoyed the experience. It's one of my favorite themes for this year, especially this page. I love that it's super colorful, but it's not too much, you know, and you can do it with heavier colors or other colors and it's going to look good. But I was really happy with the pastel colors and that it was not too much for me. I love this theme. Also, this habit tracker, this looks like M&M's or Skittles or something like that. I just really loved having all the colors to fill in my tracker. It was super fun. Also, my mood tracker. I never did a mood tracker like this, and when I saw that I had the opportunity, I was super happy, and it's one of the most beautiful and colorful mood trackers that I've ever did. And then we start with October, which was the month that ruined the pages in this bullet journal. So basically the paper that I used for like the black paper was super, like extremely thick. And I didn't thought about this until like I filmed the whole setup, and then I thought, wait, I still have to do like 3 or 4 pages with this paper. It's going to be super thick at the end of the month. I should have thought this through, but I really liked the Harry Potter Halloweeny like vintage vibes that I did. This was a great idea, but I think if I would do it now, I would do it differently. I don't know what I would do differently, but I really like this theme. It was really minimal and simple to set up, even though like gluing all the paper was not easy, but I liked the experience. This is one of the pages that didn't work out at all. Like, I don't know what was going through my mind, but I just thought that tracking every single hour of my day was a good idea for a whole month. It wasn't. I did it for a couple of days and then I just quit. I was adding the wrong hours to the wrong days. It was just a complete mess, and on the 11th I quit filling in this tracker. This doesn't work for me, and I learned this with myself this year, is that trackers that require you to fill in like every hour, or you have to fill it in every single day, it's too much for me. So I just quit, and I'm not doing these trackers ever again. And I was really in love with these like big trackers, so I kept doing them, but now I'm kind of over them, but they were really interesting. This was another thing that I tried, didn't work. Weeks were just super like easy to set up because I was just tired of gluing all the paper and stuff, so I just did something really easy. And for this one that I filmed, it was also super easy. It was fun to do this one more than this one, but for me it was just a little bit too much. And then I started seeing the pages kind of getting damaged because of the paper, so I kind of wanted to stop. I wanted October to end. Like, as you can see here, the paper is like dancing, it's not straight. So I really messed up here with this thick paper, but I really like this theme as an overall. And then we start with November, when my goth and grunge self, which is still here as you can see, but this was the theme that I wanted to do. Like, it was straight from my soul, from Tumblr. You know, my Tumblr dreams are here, and this was when I was really into like grunge style and goth style and everything. I decided to put my aesthetic into a theme. That's what I did. So I really enjoyed the different collages and washi tapes that I used in the paper and the grid and the grays. It's one of my favorite themes for this year, but it is also really like maybe too much, maybe too black, I don't know, but I love this theme. I'm actually like proud that I stepped out of my comfort zone to do something like this, and it turned out really well. And this was actually the theme that I lost some footage from because my laptop died, but I was really happy with the result. Like, this habit tracker is amazing. I love it. I know that most of you don't like this grunge style, but this was what I was feeling at the time. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. So you're probably not going to be able to see, but my expense tracker wasn't enough, and what I do is I just put a piece of paper stuck with washi tape, and it's just like the rest of my expenses and like things that I have to track money wise. I just put it on top. It's not pretty, but it works. This is a mood tracker that I never tried before, but it was really fun to fill in. Every day I would put a sticker representing my mood. Really like the idea. Weekly spreads, super messy, a bunch of stamps and stickers and washi tape. Amazing. I was really happy that I was experimenting with a bunch of washi tapes and these pictures from memo printers and the big titles and stuff. I was really happy that I was like stepping out of my comfort zone. This was a really like groundbreaking theme. And then this was when I was setting up my December cover page, but I got the page all dirty here on the side, and I was like, okay, this is too much black on the page. I'm getting it all dirty, so let's just skip this page, forget that it happened. And I have here December with 0 stamp ink on the pages. And this was the theme that I did for December that I really enjoyed, because I wanted a Christmas theme but that would not scream Christmas, and this is what I came up with. I really like this theme, especially like the calligraphy and the ombre. I really enjoyed this theme as an overall. It was really minimal to set up, and I really loved using stamps for the trees. I think it adds a lot of personality to the theme instead of just drawing the trees. This year I also did a Christmas bucket list. I put a bunch of things here, and most of them I knew that I wasn't going to do, but I decided to do a Christmas bucket list anyways because it is fun. And I did a New Year brain dump, and most of these things I'm going to transfer to my new bullet journal and to kind of give it a little thought and try to come up with like an action plan for my goals for next year. But I just wrote here the things that I was going to focus more on next year. I didn't use the brain dump a lot, but I just wanted to do it because of the new year. Then I have my weeks, and these weeks are super easy to set up. And I actually did this different weekly spread. This was inspired by Plant-Based Bride. She does like the week task list. And I also added here a space for events and my review of the day. It was fun doing this. This is something that I want to bring to 2021 and do more spreads with like reviews and stuff. Really enjoyed that. And I also really enjoyed the simplicity of this theme. This theme is very like simple. I only used 2 colors, but I really enjoyed like the vibe of it. It's really Christmassy, really simple. This is just like what I like for a busy month. And this is my current week. I don't have any more weeks in my bullet journal to fill in because here is the 1st of January. But I have a couple of spreads here. I have this page where I did like the migration process when I migrate into my current bullet journal into a new one. I did a video about this, so if you're interested, I'm going to link it in the description as well. But this was just for me to see the pages that I did in my previous bullet journals and decide which ones I want to keep, to add, to take out, or to try again in my next bullet journal. And here I just did an example of the layouts that I wanted to do. I ended up doing the layouts and the structure for all the pages on my sketchbook. That's where I plan my pages and themes and colors and everything. So here was just an example for you to see how I do the migration process. And then I have this page that I actually posted on the 29th of December on my Instagram, where I just did like a little window with all the themes that I did for this year. And fun fact, I didn't use red once in this year. I remember that my past years I didn't use purple, and I used purple here and a little bit here. I never use purple in my bullet journal, but this year I actually never used red, so it's something that I need to keep in mind for next year. There's always a color that I don't use a lot, and red is a really hard color for me to use as like pen pal themes and spreads and pages, so it's something that I want to include in 2021. And then I don't think I have anything else besides like sometimes when I do mistakes and I have to cut out a page and try the stamps from Notebook Therapy that I was going to try like for December. And this is like my pen test page that I normally just do all types of stuff when I need to try it. And here I was trying different titles for December and October. And I don't have anything else in my bullet journal. So here it was, my bullet journal for the last half of 2020. Again, I really enjoyed using this notebook for Notebook Therapy. I don't know if I'm going to use another notebook from them on the second half of 2021, but we'll see. I really love their products, so make sure to check them out. All the reviews, videos that I did, everything from 2020 is linked down below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys!